Hello and welcome to the channel. It's a bit of a new venture for me this, it's still in the very early stages. Today I'm just going to head out into the Peak District. In a moment we're going to join the Cat and Fiddle, or in a few minutes we're going to join the Cat and Fiddle, which is a nice road to ride. And when we get to the tops, I'm going to go exploring into the rest of the Peak District, where I've not been for a long time. So it should be nice. So I'm still trying to figure out how I want the videos to look, the channel to look. It's in its very basic stages at the moment. There's no graphics, nothing like that, no fancy edits. Got a couple of basic videos already about the shorty levers here, and the first test on my original bike, my GS500. I love that little bike, it was great, but the time came to change it. Just getting a little bit old and tired around the edges, and I saw an opportunity to get my dream bike, which is the Honda CB500X. It's not the most powerful bike in the world. I've had it a couple of weeks now, but I don't want something that's incredibly powerful, because that's not my style of riding. I'm much more into the technical side of things. Obviously won't see that in the videos for a while, but hopefully I'm going to upgrade to a rally raid kit at some point, level 1, level 2, I'm not sure yet, but I like the idea of making it more of an adventure style bike, and then finding some trail somewhere, maybe not so much in this country, because it's quite difficult to do that in this country, the UK, but we'll see what we can do abroad, maybe in Spain or something like that in the future. Wow, it's windy up here today. That was interesting. Don't do anything silly. Thank you. Whee. I remember coming around this bend once many years ago in the car. I think my dad was with me actually, but I mean the road isn't the best, as you can see. Nearly spun out there, but there was a cyclist right on that bend there coming down on our side of the road, and he was going at a bit of a pace. That was an interesting moment, let's put it that way. Okay, so we're just coming up to the Cat and Fiddle. I have to admit, I've got no idea if you can hear this or not. It's now very windy up here. Let's go and enjoy this road. quite nice. Just taking it quite slowly around there because I'm still getting used to the bike. One thing I found in comparison to the old GS500 that I had is the steering is very different. The bike, or this bike, is wanting to stay much more upright, so I'm having to lean a lot more into the corners than I'm used to, which is a little bit strange for me. Which, when I first got on the bike, it felt as though, it's probably not the correct term, but it felt as if the bike had massive understeer and I was going through bends, which took a little while to get used to and get my confidence up. But now I'm loving the bike. Corners really well, really easily, and this is just a nice road to relearn how to handle the bike. Coming up to the famous Cat and Fiddle pub. Unfortunately, well, at the moment at least, it's closed its doors to business. This is where you'll generally speaking find bikers at the weekend in that car park there, currently locked, which is unfortunate. There we go, more bikers. Hello, sir. Hello. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to cut off the Cat and Fiddle across Axe Edge over the moor there. And I'm going to rejoin the Cat and Fiddle again at the bottom and then filter off and go a different way. Yeah, so when we come back round, we're going to be going down there. But for now, let's go left and then turn onto Axe Edge. So how did the CB500 become my dream bike? Well, I found this bike through a recommendation from somebody at work actually, and I went researching on YouTube and the internet, and I found a couple of channels. We've got the main channel that brought me onto this bike was Blanco Lirio with Juan Brown and his build of the CB500X. With its level, what was at the time level 3 kit, it's now labelled level 2, and I loved watching those videos. It's very nice to see somebody take a bike from a basic stock form and make it into something very different, and I like the look of how different it can be. The reason I came to this bike is I've always ridden sort of smaller bikes, the GS500. Prior to that I had a Virago 535 a few years ago. But I used to have trials bikes. Oop, thank you for waiting. Just concentrate on this junction. No one there, good. Yeah, so a few years ago I used to ride trials. I used to have a gas and the UK importer for gas is just over there in that building. Well, it's not that building, that's a test facility of some kind. I think it's for explosives or something similar to that. But it's on Harbour Hill Industrial Estate up there, and used to have well, I had a few trials bikes. But yeah, I like the idea of getting a bike that I use on a everyday basis, the CB500, and making it into something that potentially could go off-road. Nowhere near to the same level as a trials bike, but something I could take up a track. And oh, that was close. So yeah, something I could take off the beaten track and enjoy myself. Just coming into Buxton, so let's turn left and rejoin the Cat and Fiddle. Yes, that's one unfortunate thing about the Cat and Fiddle now, is a few years ago it used to be a national speed limit, which obviously is 60 on this road. It was reduced to an average speed check of 50, so unfortunately you can't quite enjoy yourself as much as you used to be able to. Not that I'd want to ride this road above 60 anyway, but you can definitely get above 50. Even in a car, I've never really liked well, I've always had a feeling that obviously you're being monitored constantly, which is fair enough because there were quite a few collisions on here, quite a few issues, but it's not as nice to ride as it used to be, which is unfortunate. Jesus, he came around that corner quick. Okay, I'm going to peel back off here. Unfortunately all the traffic has decided to do that as well. Left where this white car is Axe Edge that we just rode, and obviously the Cat and Fiddle is back up that way. Oh, what are you doing? That's clever. Weird. A load of trees in that field that have been ripped out of the ground, but there was no hole that they've come from, so they must have been transported there, which is quite odd. Okay, somewhere around this corner I think there's a hairpin, but we're going to take the left turn and we're going to start exploring. Oh, road ahead closed. Brilliant. Let's not go exploring then. I know what they'll be doing. There was a bridge that they were working on a few weeks ago down there, because it was falling apart, so they'll probably be putting that back together, which is a shame. I was looking forward to going over that way. Okay, so I'm going to come back up on the hairpin, and I am going to try and go down the road that I wanted to go down in the first place. It does advise that shops are open as usual, so if there's a problem, if anybody asks, I'm looking for shops. Thank you. Whoop. Well, that that was a temporary obstruction, but further down, as I suspected, they are still rebuilding the bridge, which is fine. It's good to see they're actually maintaining the road, because it was in a little bit of a state a few weeks ago. What's this guy doing? Just park in the middle of the junction. So I'm going to go back the way I've just come, and I'm going to find a different way to get to where I wanted to go. I don't know what it is about this stretch of road coming this way, but I do quite like the way this road rides. Well, we're coming back up on the Cat and Fiddle again. I think this time I'll go back down the Cat and Fiddle instead of taking Axe Edge. And then we'll go up to Harper Hill and get around that way. Missed a gear. That's one thing I have noticed with this bike. I mean, it's just a matter of getting used to, but the gearbox, particularly in the lower gears 1, 2 and 3, is quite clunky. And there, unfortunately, just got the better of me again, where I've just missed the missed second gear and went straight into neutral. No doubt I'll stop doing that as I get used to the bike. Right, coming back into Buxton. I bet this guy's going to turn left. Yes. Something I didn't really have the confidence to do on the old GS. It just wouldn't go like that, or didn't feel as stable anyway. Okay, coming up to Harper Hill in a minute on the right. The home of Gas UK, as I mentioned earlier on. Just up there. Right, okay, so this is where my knowledge really ends of the Peak District at the moment. I mean, I've been up here before, but I don't know the roads that well, so everything from now really is a sort of mini adventure. Wow, that's a bit of a view. quite nice. Going on here? Nope. Hello sir, thank you. Nice nod, nice bike. Like a Triumph Tiger of some sort. You know what, I'm so glad I came up here today. I mean, it's not too hot, yeah it's a bit windy, whatever. But the views are amazing, the roads are great, and it's been a great test of the gear. This is the first time I've really had most of the bits and pieces attached to the bike, camera equipment wise, etc. So on the mirror here I've got the GoPro remote, which so far is working well. I've also got in my jacket a battery for the GoPro, which is the microphone, the camera mount, etc, all that sort of stuff strapped to the helmet. I've had to readjust earlier on in the ride because compared to the older GS, the camera position or my riding position is very different on this bike, so I've had to adjust a little bit so that I wasn't looking up at the sky. I've also got in front of me here my Sat-nav mount. At the moment I've just got the mobile phone in there just in case I get lost and I need to get home later on. But basically what that is a £6 bicycle extension bar that you can clip lights to whatever you want to on the front of your handlebar, and I've adjusted it a little bit so it will fit on the handlebars of the bike here, because it's designed for the fatter bars that you tend to find on most bicycles now. I actually ended up getting a couple of old golf club grips that I had in the garage, cutting them in a way that allowed me to close that gap, but by doing that, and it is purely just the rubber that's causing this. I mean, you've probably seen on the video the Sat-nav is bouncing around a little bit, and I've noticed when I'm riding that it's actually moved down a little bit from where it was, so it's sliding around the handlebar slowly, which is something I don't want when I go on a 4 or 5 day trip in the future. So to counteract that, I didn't really want to, because it's basically the same thing, but I've forked out, and the Jivvy Smart Mount is on its way to me. That's on order. I've also ordered a new Jivvy tank bag, a small 6 litre one. Because the tank bag I've got currently, and it's not on the bike at this moment in time, but the tank bag I've got currently is a little bit bigger. It's got a few more magnets on it, but it's not really designed for this shape of tank, so it's a little bit awkward to actually get on the bike and keep it there. So yeah, I've seen a few of these Jivvy bags online on this bike, and we'll see how it goes. It looks as though it'll work well. Oh, this is a long turn. That was nice. Another one. Hello, BMW and I think it was the Ducati there, I might be wrong. But, yeah, I've also got an order from Honda, where I actually got the bike from, Sutton Motorcycles in Tamworth. They were great. When I walked in and saw this bike, it was a couple of years old, but it's pretty much pristine, and thought, right, I'll have that. So I rang them the other day and ordered the Honda tall screen. And I've also ordered the rear hugger. Now the rear hugger is something that I've always wanted, particularly on the GS. There was a lot of mud, a lot of dirt flung onto the rear shock and around the bike, and the GS is a bit notorious for rusting, and that was starting to rust around the swing arm, which was a little bit upsetting, but something that I expected. So the next thing for me to really do on the bike is consider if I want the Buxton handguards, the Storm, or I think it's the VPS, the white ones to match the bike, or like I said, the Storm, which is the more all-around guard. And yeah, I don't know if I actually need the bark busters at this moment in time, but I'm guessing for longer trips it will just keep that breeze off, keep any weather off that appears, and make the trip a bit more enjoyable. I don't think I'm going to get past these guys anytime soon. Just take a risk. Just take a risk. I don't like doing this, but oh well. Yeah, I don't really like doing that. So I'm not that kind of rider, but if I didn't do that there, I'd have been stuck behind them for a long time. Oh. There's a nice clear stretch of road here now. Okay, what road signs have we got here? I'm going to go straight over, I think. Can't really see where this is going, but it looks like a nice road. And for the moment, I'm the only one on it. Whoa! And brake a bit there. Wow. I'll go down a gear. That was a classic example of the bike not handling quite as I'm used to. These are some great turns up here. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier on, the last thing I really need to do to the bike before any major modifications, obviously once the screen and the hugger arrive, will be to put the bark buster guards on if I want to do that. After that, the next step for me would be to go over and have a look at the CB500X adventure kit from Rally Raid and see if I want to go and do that. And I think at some point I'll put the bash plate on anyway, just because I like the idea of that rather than the exposed sump underneath. Particularly for me in the garage, it'll make it much easier for me being able to lift the bike, because I've got a couple of lifts that would slide under the bike to lift it, which at the moment I can't do that. So I've just had to order a rear paddock stand. But yeah, the bash plate at least would make the bike much easier to maintain. Right, well it'll be interesting to see how long the camera lasts from now. The Hero Session 5 battery lasts maybe about an hour. We've been riding an hour and a half now. And I've got it plugged into an external battery pack, which hopefully will allow it to last 4, 5, maybe even 6 hours a day, which is the amount of time I'm hoping to be riding each day in Scotland in June. Yeah, so it's a good test to see if that's adequate or whether I need to upgrade that kit. Let's go for an overtake. Yes, the battery I've had a few years, the battery pack I've had a few years. It'll just be interesting to see how well it holds up powering a device constantly. Okay, I think I'm going to go left, more towards Leek, I think. Yeah, I know the rough area that I am, but I don't actually know whether I'm heading in the right direction or anything at the minute. Oh, apparently Leek is 10 miles away anyway, which is fine because I know where I am when I get to Leek. This is a bad bit of road, which is a shame. I was a bit worried about going. Oh wow, these strips are really severe. I was a bit worried about going around that corner at any speed in case it broke away and lost traction. Yeah, I'm getting a bit peckish now. I think we'll see where this road goes and then stop and find a way to get myself home. Aha, Leek. push that back up. That's why I've ordered the mount. Although it's expensive, it's when I found it at a good price compared to other places, but I found it for about 80 quid for the kit for this bike and the mount itself. But yeah, that sat-nav was just moving up and down. Well, I mean, the phone was moving up and down. The sat-nav is heavier, and the effect obviously is greater, and it spins around a little bit easier. So I just want that fixed and set there. Right, okay, so just coming out of Leek back onto the roads that I know. And it's homeward bound from here, I think. You know what, I've really enjoyed this ride today. By the time I get home, it'll probably be about 2.5 hours, something like that, maybe a little bit more. And I think that's just about enough before you need to take a break on this bike, because my bum's telling me it's time to take a break. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this ride. I can see all the bits and pieces I've got attached to the bike are working great. When I collected the bike, I actually came back this way from the dealer in Tamworth, Sutton Motorcycles, and my ability to control the bike from then to now is, well, it's night and day. I mean, these roads here, I was very unsure in the corners, and yeah, I'm absolutely loving this bike now. And even the twists and turns that we've done today, I think, has given me the world of confidence, done me the world of good. And yeah, I'm much looking forward to getting to know this bike better in the future. Yeah, I mean, the bike now I'm used to, it's so easy to flick around the corners. You've just got to have the confidence to lean it over a little bit more. That was a great corner. We're just coming through Macclesfield now. I'm just on my way home, heading through the town here. For those who might like to ride the Cat and Fiddle or into the peaks at some point, if you were to turn right here at Origi Bianchi, yeah, if you turn right at Origi Bianchi here, up where that lorry's just gone, eventually that'll take you to the start of the Cat and Fiddle. Okay, so we're coming to the end of my ride today. It's been about 2.5 hours looking at GoPro remote here. Yeah, that is just about enough before it starts becoming uncomfortable for me personally. I need to get off the bike in a minute and just have a bit of a stretch. But I can definitely say that my confidence on the bike, particularly in the corners, has definitely improved massively today. Yeah, so I can definitely recommend the bike to anybody who's looking for a small bike but that is nice and easy to get along with. Absolutely, the CB500X is a great little bike, and anyone who's interested in riding the Peak District and hasn't already, yeah, just get up there and go. It's nice roads, nice views. It's not too demanding. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so if you're thinking of riding the peaks, just go and ride it. Yeah, it's definitely not demanding in comparison to some roads out there. I mean, there probably are demanding roads in the Peak District, but if you just want a nice day out, absolutely, just go and enjoy yourself. Over the coming weeks, I'll hopefully have some videos about the bits and pieces that I mentioned earlier on, the new screen, the rear hugger. Depending on what I decide to do, the bike buster guards, we'll hopefully get some videos of all that kind of stuff being installed. And this is me. I'm going to turn off here, and I'll meet you in the next video. See you for now.